With Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump's unpopularity numbers soaring, is this the year for extra party runs? Let's ask my court-mandated party panel tonight. It's now Miki Konst. She is a Democratic strategist. She is a former DNC council member. And boy, she has a lot to say about this race. Michael Malice is here. He is the author of Dear Reader with a new haircut. Very sassy. And tonight it's my friend Meghan McCain, Fox News contributor and one who's no stranger to presidential races. Welcome, everybody.
Hello. Thank you.
I'm so excited to talk about all this. Now, Miki, I'm going to start with you. What do you think about Bernie Sanders running as an independent?
I think if anybody in this race right now were to run as an independent besides Donald Trump, the most successful would be Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
43% of Americans right now are registered as independents. Pretty much all of his base, the majority of the millennials, are independents. The blue collar vote, he's got a stranglehold on that vote right now. And if he doesn't get it, then Donald Trump is going to get it.
Yeah.
So when you take all those coalitions, except for the Democratic Party base or the Republican base, he'd win.
So you think he actually could win? I mean, I think he's got enough crossover with Donald Trump, not just Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Because she's definitely got an authenticity problem. I truly think that Bernie could do quite well, but why limit it to just one third-party person?
Well, first of all, yeah, we've never had a third-party candidate win successfully, and usually when you have these third-party candidates, they only...
Because there's only one, ever.
Yeah, there's only one party, the Wall Street War Machine Party. But look, I disagree with Nomiki because I don't think these voters are distributed. So the places where Bernie would be strong would be like the coast, like California, New York.
Yeah.
So those are electoral votes that are getting split between Hillary and Bernie, and Trump's going to get a landslide, just like happened in '68 when George Wallace just ended up basically taking votes away from what would have been Hubert Humphrey votes, and Nixon got in. So this is not really a winning strategy for Senator Sanders, I don't think.
Who is it a winning strategy for? Because I can't stand the idea of just Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Yeah. And I can't stand the idea of just one person taking away votes from one or the other. So I think you invite all ideologies to get in and make this a crowded field.
Make the last step and join me in anarchism and realize you can't ever vote yourself free and you can't ever spend yourself rich. This game is rigged against the people at all times.
You know what? You're making a more scintillating case by the day.
Thank you.
I mean, I know it's a romantic and unpopular notion.
I am romantic and unpopular.
All right, so what does Romney do? I mean, Bill Kristol, a lot of conservatives want.
Romney is not the answer to our problems.
Okay.
He's maybe the king establishment, like the quintessential establishment Republican. He's also proven that he can lose. Listen, I went to church yesterday, and I should be praying about different things in my life. I'm praying for a miracle here because I have never felt this conflicted.
The miracle, then? If it's not Romney,
I would love a amazing, fiscally conservative, socially liberal, foreign policy hawk to manifest itself.
Yes,
that's your girl.
No, I also would like not a liar and a criminal and someone who has actually gotten people killed in Libya, but whatever. And also, in all sincerity, I am having a total existential crisis.
Who is that? I mean, who is this person?
But the problem is there's legal issues with doing an independent too. There's sore loser laws, which is also why Bernie Sanders can't get in. Getting on the ballot right now, it would take a ton of money, and I think there's about a month left to do it. So I love talking about this on TV shows, but I think unfortunately we're stuck with Trump and Hillary, and it breaks my heart wide open. It's awful.
Yeah, it's like B. Arthur trying to get a boyfriend and get pregnant. And
God.
She went there.
That's the joke. That's the joke.
Donald Trump is the presumptive GOP nominee, but wide swaths of Republicans are not backing him. Here's Mr. Trump on party unity.
Does the party have to be together? Does it have to be unified? I'm very different than everybody else, perhaps, that's ever run for office. I actually don't think so. This is called the Republican Party. It's not called the Conservative Party. You know, there are conservative parties. This is called the Republican Party.
Oh, interesting. Now, can the Donald win without the full throttle of the GOP? Malice, you actually bring up a really interesting point that he may be doing something here that's actually outside of his own selfish best interest. Do you think that he's actually protecting down-ticket candidates?
Yeah, he's pulling a page from Clinton in '96 where he's telling the Republican candidates for Senate and the House, run against me. You don't have to endorse me if that's what's going to save you to get reelected. I'll run on my own, and then once I'm elected president, you guys will have no choice but to fall in line because you will be president, and this gives them clean hands. If it was Ted Cruz at the top ticket, they would have to endorse the nominee, but this way they could have their cake and eat it too, and you could have a Republican Congress and a Republican president, and we could finally make America great again.
Oh, finally. I'm so looking forward to it. Does he need the establishment to bring the party together? How important is that?
I think in terms of voter outreach in swing states in particular, when you're looking at the national map, he does need that. He doesn't necessarily need a Lindsey Graham, who I find so entertaining. But aside from that, he doesn't need a Lindsey Graham or a Mitt Romney or any of these establishment names.
Yeah.
He has the base. He's got the base already. He's won that base over with incredible numbers. And if he can get that blue-collar vote away from Hillary Clinton, he could probably win those swing states, some of the swing states, maybe not Pennsylvania and some other ones, but he'll win the Great Lakes region, which probably will be the most important part of the map.
That's very interesting. So the idea of uniting the party, I mean, isn't that an old-fashioned idea? Is there really a need to unite the Republican Party?
I'm an old school, old-fashioned Republican in a lot of ways, and nothing has made me feel older than this election in a lot of ways. Legitimately, like I'm no longer cool because I believe in conservative values and I'm pro-life and all these things that Donald Trump isn't. To me, it's important. And the problem is I am being nothing short of threatened because I still am refusing to support Donald Trump. And his supporters are going on TV saying you don't get to call yourself a conservative unless you support Donald Trump. But he's going on TV and saying he doesn't care about uniting people like me. It's not going to work. It can't work. And I find it insulting. I find it exhausting. And he may not care now, but when it comes to the general and these demographics you're talking about, any way you play these numbers, he needs people like me badly.
We all need people like Meghan McCain, and thank goodness she and the party panel are going to be back a little later.
He needs young women. He needs young conservative. He's all young women, but he especially needs young single women. He needs people like you as well. But no, Miki, that's never going to happen. It's not going to happen for Hillary either. So.
Well, we've got an exciting primary tomorrow night. And I'm going to be a part of FBN's Tuesday election coverage, including the big Democratic contest in West Virginia. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's tomorrow night. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to talk about that race there and Bernie Sanders' chances of capitalizing on Hillary's unpopularity. A little later, is the coal industry dying because of government regulation, or as Hillary Clinton claims, is the market to blame? Brian Brenberg breaks it down in just a little bit. Stay right here. All right, West Virginia, welcome back, sunshine. I always drink you. West Virginia has primaries tomorrow, and Bernie Sanders is poised to ride a wave of independent voters across the Mountain State. Will he further drag out the race? I hope so. Or will Hillary Clinton prevail? I hope not. Our party panel is back. Nomiki Konst, it's Michael Malice, it's Meghan McCain. So let's talk about this a little bit. How does Bernie do in West Virginia?
He kills it. He's beating her in the polls right now in every single poll by significant margins, and usually when that happens, he ups that. It's not a closed primary, which we know.
Happened in Indiana, happened in Michigan.
Happened in Michigan, exactly. And when it's not a closed primary, he does very well. Why? Because independents are included. Why? Because the majority of young people are independents. So it's not that young people don't vote, it's that the Democratic Party writes the rules of each state so that young people and people of color and people with lesser means can't vote.
All right, no, that's marginalization. That's exactly what they're doing, all right? So let's talk about her getting it from both sides right now, because this is a difficult position for her to be in, because she's still seeing an active primary challenge from Bernie Sanders, and Donald Trump is ramping up his rhetoric against her. Does she survive the squeeze?
She thought this was going to be wrapped up months ago. She had the drapes all measured in the White House, and now for weeks it's going to be Trump hitting her on one side for the infidelity. Bernie Sanders is going to be hitting her on economics, and she's not going to know what to do. And we can see her Achilles heel, her utter contempt for voting in the democratic process, that days before the West Virginia primary, she's going on that she's going to be shutting down coal mines. And then when she's confronted about it, she goes, oh, I didn't mean it. I just meant you guys can find new jobs. Well, that is the problem, the finding of the new jobs. And this is going to continue up to the general, when you can see her seething contempt for the little people and the fact that she has to answer them and ask for their vote.
No, but she has no problem saying, you know, we're going to put a lot of coal miners out of work. We're going to shut down a lot of coal mines. And then she tries to walk it back. It's like, why even bother? Why even bother campaigning in the state when you said something that stupid? Is it fun to watch her squirm on an issue like that?
I love it. Are you kidding? I've said it before. I said it on a show we did. I love watching Bernie Sanders rip out her jugular and serve it to me on a platter, because I hate her with like in ways that I can't even describe. What's fascinating though is that the Republicans were supposed to have a contested convention. It looks like now Democrats can.
They absolutely
which is
could.
fascinating.
It's gonna. Neither of them are going to hit that magic number.
You don't think
of
so?
delegates.
I mean, I know you're a Bernie supporter. I mean,
Yeah.
we should at least put that out there.
the
So
super
people
I'm a
delegates,
Bernie
doesn't she?
surrogate, but superdelegates don't matter until the convention floor. So
Okay.
based
a lot
on the
of them are being
margins,
swayed, correct?
a lot of them, some of them are being swayed, but based on
Unless
the pledge delegate
the
margins.
Clintons get to them with all sorts of promises.
They did that, you know,
And
a
threats.
year ago, and threats.
And more threats. And more threats.
But there's something about all of them that's so wildly disingenuous. Chelsea Clinton was saying, I don't care about money. She's living in a $10.5 million apartment in a very
it's easy
nice
not to
area.
care about money. You don't have
it's
to care about money.
But it's like, just be authentic. Be
Yeah,
like, we are wildly wealthy, political legacy, and we're going to shove it down everyone's
She
throat.
hasn't been authentic since college when she got into this House of Cards marriage for the sake of furthering her ambition.
Went there.
And she's looking the other way while her husband's done horrible things to her and her family.
That's what's
Aside
gonna
from
kill her,
that,
too.
there's a lot of attacks. I mean, Chelsea Clinton's a perfect example. Her husband is a hedge funder. Guess who invested in her husband's company? The chair of Goldman Sachs. I mean, the relationships are just right in your face, and nobody talks about them. She
And
gave
Trump
speeches.
will, but Trump will talk
Exactly.
about them.
Well, no,
yes.
people do try and talk about them, but then they're accused of a vast right-wing conspiracy.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's
lying.
only,
And then she says, I'm a woman. They're only doing this because I'm a woman, which is setting gender equality back decades. Because if you're going to get in the ring, you should be able to take it. And everything goes back to, I'm a woman. This is why they're
That's her
doing
only
it to me.
card.
I'm such a fragile flower. How dare they say that about my woman? Well, luckily, the panel is returning later. We've got a lot more to talk about, including a New York City rule that says pregnant women who ask for drinks in bars cannot be refused. First up, Donald Trump sends mixed signals on whether or not he would raise taxes on the rich. Brian Bredberg, the professor of economics, here to sort everything out for you. Next. Hello there. That's right, baby. We're just partying in here. Glad you're part of the party. Right? Expecting women in New York can expect to be served a drink or two after the New York City Human Rights Commission told bars it's against the law to refuse service to a pregnant woman, even if the bartender thinks it's a horrible idea for a pregnant woman to consume alcohol. Our party panel is back. Nomiki Konst, Michael Malice, and Megan McCain. So, Malice, I will start with you.
Naturally.
You're either a pregnant
As
or a
the
woman.
pregnant person on this panel.
So how should we really figure this conundrum out?
Okay, I think there needs to be a little bit of a challenge. So the rule is the woman can drink at the bar, but she's not legally allowed to buy her own drink. So if she can convince a man to get her a drink, even in her state, then she gets to drink as much as she wants. Game on, pregos. Listen, my mom was pregnant when she was having me, and I came out fine.
Do you mean
Drunk, I mean drunk,
Oh,
drunk,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And you're still drunk.
I'm still drunk. I came out all pickled. That's why I ate so well. I'm
That had
70 years
no
old.
effect at all whatsoever. So if you're saying that a woman who is clearly pregnant is fine to drink, is it okay for babies to drink?
I know. Well, I just think if Chelsea Handler did a sketch for Mad TV where she was faked being pregnant and taking shots at a bar and see people's reaction. But I know I have a friend that's pregnant right now that drinks wine on occasion.
Sure.
She'll have like half a glass of wine, which I guess French people do all the time.
Oui.
I would not be comfortable if I was a bartender and like a 9-month pregnant woman came and said I want a shot or a drink. I feel like I wouldn't be able to do it either.
What a turnoff to all the guys there, right?
Oh, God, that's the turnoff. That's it. Okay.
If the bartender won't serve you?
No, just the big pregnant lady. Just like, come on.
Some guys are
See,
into that.
I think that this is where,
Some guys
this is
like
where
pregnant
businesses
ladies.
have been neutered. Like if you can't make decisions
Yeah.
yourself as a business owner,
Right.
or tell your employees like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. What's the point? Where's the liberty in that? You're torn here, though.
I'm really torn here, truly. I mean, I actually think it's okay for a woman to drink a little bit of wine. There's been some studies behind that. In fact, I read one coming in that if a pregnant woman drinks 1 bottle of wine a month, their children come out better behaved. I don't know if that's because they keep drinking after they've given birth. I don't write the studies. Those are the scientists. But I'm torn. I mean, it's something
science.
where
A bottle of wine a month.
it's a glass
Well,
of
what
wine.
is that? Yeah, like 1 glass.
Is it?
That's communion a day.
Glasses.
Basically.
I don't know. I don't like telling other people what to do in any capacity, but I feel like, someone, it's like, are they having half a glass of wine or are they taking a bunch
But
of
if
Jaeger
someone's
shots?
hammered and clearly pregnant, that's problematic.
Yeah.
Because it's not just them. If you want to make your own bad choices and pollute your liver and die slowly of alcohol poisoning, have at it.
I'm just worried about them getting drunk and calling their exes. Like, hey, I'm pregnant. What are you
my
doing?
God.
Are you busy tonight?
I mean, the good news is they can't get pregnant.
But if you kill a pregnant woman, you're charged with two conditions of manslaughter, like a baby and a person. So doesn't that mean that the baby is a separate life that the woman should be harming?
Well,
Or
the
the
baby,
bartender's convicted?
that's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, would it be okay to shove a bottle of Jack Daniels in a 2-week-old baby's mouth? No. That's why, like,
Only Jim Beam.
Kentucky whiskey, baby. That's right.
It's only in Kentucky would that happen.
Make babies great again.
Amen. All right, a new University of Michigan study shows that failing to get enough sleep can leave a person functionally drunk in a matter of days, but not the fun kind of drunk like when you're pregnant in a New York City bar. Just sluggish. Dangerous when driving, that kind of drunk. The study also found that middle-aged men get the least amount of sleep, and on average, women get 30 minutes more shut-eye a night than their male counterparts.
What?
But see, I 100% believe this, that if you don't get good sleep, and the thing the study showed is you think you're performing optimally.
Right.
You're performing like a drunk person.
Yes. But men get more sleep than women?
No,
Or, I mean, women get more sleep than men?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
No,
I can't function unless I have, a good amount of sleep. I'm a complete mess. Don't get behind me or around me in a car. If I don't have 8 hours of sleep, words aren't coming out of my mouth.
All right, but you're tired today.
I'm tired. I'm a little tired. I said that in my notes leading up. I
Yeah.
can't finish sentences. I'm dragging on. La da 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 da. Cut me off.
You fooled me.
Yeah.
You seem good today.
Did you get behind the wheel of a cab and nail a couple
Not
of
behind the
bicyclists?
wheel, but I did yell at my cabbie today.
Oh,
So
privilege.
not my personality.
Privilege. Wow.
Check the privilege.
So what do you think about this?
Well, I actually think this is actually very important. And in fact, I structured my life to get enough sleep every night. I go to bed at 2 a.m. I wake up at 11. I couldn't do enough.
Really?
Yeah, every night.
That's amazing.
all day,
That's
every
a great
day.
schedule.
Because that's my biorhythm. And this American idea that you have to follow the corporation schedule, I think, is something that's falling by the wayside. And more young people are like, wait a minute, why am I having an alarm clock when I could be just as productive when I wake up and put my 8 hours when it's my 8 hours, as opposed to getting dressed, getting in that sardine can called the subway, and interacting with Brenda in the elevator who has to tell you about the weather when I don't care about you, Brenda. You're never interesting.
You work from home.
I do work from home.
If you, and when you have kids, like it obviously changes
Sure.
because you try and keep those little urchins occupied till 11, and they just keep coming back and coming back.
That's funny. I actually have a really good friend, C. Robert Cargill. He's a screenwriter. He's writing the new Doctor Strange Marvel movie. Same thing. He goes to sleep at really early in the morning, and then he'll work, or really late at night, and then he'll work all night. And he has like a really bizarre schedule. So there's
probably
actually a
more
lot of
productive
studies
that
about
way.
that. Yeah, he says he just doesn't like the distractions during the day. He likes it during the night, which is fascinating. If I don't get 8 hours of sleep every single night, that's something I've learned. I am also not a nice person to be around. I'm just not as good in any capacity, and I don't like it. And it sucks because I envy people that only need 5 hours of sleep, but for me, 8 or it's.
I agree completely. Sleep is important. I get as much as I possibly can. I love sleep, and drunkenness is for drinking only. Yes. Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much, Megan, Mike.
Thank you.
What a great panel. Coming up is the wall on our border with Mexico, trapping Americans outside of our own country. Charlie LaDuff joins me after this, fresh from his trip to Texas. Please stay here.